Hi, my name is Upamana. This is translation of my Ukrainian name Mikhailo, or Michael in English. This is translation to Sanskrit, and my favorite theological stream or school is Christian Vedanta. Vedanta, can it be Christian, you can ask. Different academics and theologians give their own answers on that, but I want to share what I think about this. You know, there are several streams of Vedanta, several schools. The most famous is Advaita Vedanta, which means non-dualistic Vedanta. Also, some people who like Indian philosophy also know that there are several schools of personalistic Vedanta, like Advaita Vedanta, Vishishta Advaita Vedanta, and Bhakti Vedanta, which means Gaudiya Vedanta, taught by Bengal Vaishnavas. So, what is the place for Christian Vedanta in this area? First, let's remind what are the principal ideas of the Vedanta Sutra. Vedanta Sutra is pretty principal scripture written in Sanskrit, and the main point of explanation of this scripture is what is relationships between individual soul or jiva and Brahman, which means eternal, endless God, or eternal spirit. So, different Hinduism teachers give their own opinion what is the main idea of Vedanta. They have their own commentaries on this scripture, and they are so different. So even Christian can be closer to one of the Vedanta school than some of them between each other. So I want to point my attention to the principle which belongs to Christianity as well as personalistic Hindu thought. What is eternal spirit? What is God? Is it person, or this is just endless impersonalistic spirit? Actually, we can talk about both aspects of the absolute truth. But in Christian opinion, God has personality, and relationships between Jivatma or individual spiritual soul with God is also endless and totally spiritual. That's why for Christian it is absolutely normal to deal with Vedanta ideas, to study Vedanta Sutra, and also to have their own Christian commentaries on this. So I know that some Christians already told that Vedanta, which means Advaita Vedanta, completely acceptable for Christians, but also some Christian theologians think that it is impossible to combine, to adjust Vedanta philosophy to Christian theology. But in this case, I want to stress the accent on the relationships between philosophy and Christian theology. Christians used Greek philosophy to express their teaching, and this gave a pretty good possibility to express what we believe, but also at the same time it has some limitations which we already accepted using Greek philosophy. So what if Christianity could use Indian philosophy, and more specifically Vedanta philosophy, to express Christian understanding of God, soul, and their relationship? I believe that Vedanta Sutra can be used by Christian theologians, and depending on what translation we will use, it is possible to express also our dogmatics. So, for example, what is spiritual soul? What is Atman in Christianity? There are different opinions on that, and actually we don't have some stable and acceptable teaching for all of us, but the main principle is that we are created by God in some period of time, but we have endless existence. So, which means that there is no rebirth, there is no samsara in Christian opinion. There is life which comes from zero, which comes from God, who gives us lives, but our lives belongs to our God. So it means that we are created, we have limited and perishable soul, but we can be imperishable. We can adopt God's nature, God's modus of existence, and our limited and perishable soul can become immortal. So this is the principal difference between Christian understanding of reality and Hindu understanding. But I think that these two ideas can be harmonized. This harmonization comes from our understanding of what is Brahman and what is Atman. Atman is God. Brahman is God. Atman equals to Brahman. But what is the place for individual soul, for individual life in this case? Let me suggest this idea that Atman, which is God, which is Christ, gives life to us, gives life to our perishable existence, perishable nature, and we are living by Him, and we can become God accepted, we can become sons of God, in the meaning that we can adopt God's nature, God's grace, which is a little bit different from the nature. We cannot be God by nature, but we can be God by by the grace, we can accept God's existence as our own existence. So, in my opinion, our individual soul can be combined with the divine Atman, with the divine self. So when Upanishads say that Aham Brahmasmi, I am Brahman, it means that God is Brahman. God says that he is Brahman. But if we believe in God, if we take shelter in his power, in his energy, so we can also say that we are Brahman. We accept it. We accepted this Brahman nature by grace. The same as Tattvamasi. So you are that. You are Atman. You are Brahman. This is also one of the Mahavakya, the great quotations, the great expressions of Upanishads. And Christian teaching also can be Upanishadic teaching. In the case, if we can harmonize the relationships between spiritual eternal Atman and our created, our limited existence, which is living by God's power, with God's energy, with his Shakti, with his divinizational energy. So, coming to the questions, can Vedanta be Christian? I can say for sure that Vedanta is Christian. The Christian revelations give us key to understand real and deep Vedanta ideas. Without Christian revelation, you cannot understand Vedanta properly. This is my strong opinion, this is my belief. This is my understanding, which comes from two sources. First is reading scriptures and doing theological research, and second is my own experience. Maybe I cannot define it in all details, but in general, I know that we can harmonize Vedanta teaching with Christian doctrine. And I started to do that. I have several videos in Russian or Ukrainian language which explains how Christianity can be expressed in Vedanta philosophy. And also by this video I'm starting my English explanations. I want to share what I found, what I want to offer you as your also devotional meditation. We can share what we found, what we researched. So I hope that I will find some common thinkers, some spiritual friends in different locations besides Russian and Ukrainian speaking world. So please give your commentaries, give your questions or reflections on what you think about Christian Vedanta, and we will proceed in next videos with some special topics, and we can discuss special shlokas from Indian scriptures and compare it to what Christian revealed during the 2000 history 2000 years of Christian history. So let's stay in touch. Have a good night, day, and all other times. Glory to Jesus Christ.